A distinguished automobile like the 1934 Duesenberg Model J requires a dignified and refined storyteller.
Does anyone know where we can find a distinguished and refined storyteller?
Miss Terry?
Yes.
I thought maybe, I could. I got the suit and the hat.
I guess you'll do.
Thanks, I think. I guess you're stuck with me. A world of wonder, where fantastical music machines provide the soundtrack for a tantalizing stroll through history. Vintage automobiles and memorabilia stimulate the senses around every chromed curve and corner. This is Inside Stahls.
Watch out for that first step, it's a doozy.
You ever hear the expression, "that's a doozy"? Many people believe it was derived from the Duesenberg, one of the most luxurious and at the time expensive automobiles ever produced. If you're one of those people, we're not here to tell you what to believe, but it's simply not true. The 1934 Duesenberg Model J, however, is a doozy in every sense of the word. At the time of its introduction on December 1st at the 1928 New York Auto Salon, it was the most expensive automobile in the world. Duesenberg set out to build the world's greatest car, and that didn't come cheap. Prices ranged anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000. But if that was out of your price range, you could pick up a brand new Ford Model A for around $400. In fact, you could buy 22 of these babies for the cost of the Duesenberg chassis alone. When you consider the average American household was $4,000 a year at the time, it was clear the Duesenberg was designed for an exclusive clientele. The timing for such opulence couldn't have been worse. The Duesenberg debuted a year before the market crash of 1929. Initially, the Duesenberg enjoyed great success in New York City. America's financial capital was flush with cash and people willing to spend it. But as the Depression reached its darkest days, even the wealthiest of Americans had trouble justifying such a purchase. Hollywood's elite came to the rescue. A car desired by the rich and famous kept the Duesenberg alive. The Duesenberg was a status symbol in both America and Europe. It was owned by the likes of royalty, moguls, movie stars, and even gangsters like Al Capone. Movie star Gary Cooper owned 2 Duesenbergs, and in 2018, one of them sold at auction for $22 million.
Sold! Thank you very much indeed.
If you were somebody, you may have been one of the fortunate souls to own one of the 481 Duesenberg Model Js ever produced. Clarence R. Biting was a somebody. He was the president of the U.S. Sugar Corporation, and on July 11th, 1934, he purchased the very car I'm sitting in here at Stahls. So you had to be pretty fancy to own a Duesenberg, but the desire to relieve themselves of all that money burning a hole in their pockets wasn't the only reason rich folks wanted one of these cars. The first thing you notice about the Duesenberg is the sheer size, 142.5 inches from bow to stern. Throw me a line! In addition to its glamorous appearance, the Model Js were serious machines, heavier, faster, and more technologically advanced than anything produced at the time. One of the Duesenberg's early marketing slogans was the only car that could pass a Duesenberg was another Duesenberg. Under the hood lay a beast, America's first series-produced straight 8. It measured 4 feet from fan to flywheel, and it cranked out 265 horsepower. And with the top up and the fenders on, it could reach 116 miles per hour, including 89 miles per hour in the second of its 3 gears. All of that power was necessary to move her 5,500 pounds. Old Doozy didn't miss many meals.
Thought you were trying to lose weight.
Lay off me, I'm starving.
Powerful but elegant, the Doozy was a smoothie thanks to a drop-forged crankshaft that was statically and dynamically balanced. And if there was any hint of vibration, a pair of 16-ounce mercury-filled cartridges kept your cage from being rattled. What about the fuel mileage, you ask? That question meant you could not afford a Duesenberg. You see, she had a thirst that matched her weight problem. 4 fuel pumps, 1 mechanical, 3 electrical, fed the 1.5-inch carburetor. 8 gallons in the cooling system kept her from getting too hot under the collar, and so did the thermostatic vanes built into the grill. The Duesenberg's low profile was achieved thanks to unusual high-point axles, and it was said the chassis was strong enough to handle the weight of a freight car. Some serious reins were needed to whoa up all that power and weight, and the Duesenberg came to a stop with huge hydraulic 15 by 3-inch drums that were considered the best in the world at the time. By 1934, the brakes were equipped with a vacuum booster that could be controlled from the dash, suitable for any driving conditions, an early ABS system, if you will. At the wheel contained controls for spark advance and fuel enrichment, things we don't think about in cars today. The bodies of the Model J were built by a number of renowned coach builders. Durham built this car, and this particular style was known as the Arlington sedan. It also features Durham's signature padded leather roof panels. It's also the only 34 Duesenberg Model J with 3 courtesy lights located below the rear doors. The stories of these automobiles and the men that built them is endlessly fascinating. In 1932, 1 month after Duesenberg debuted its 320 horsepower supercharged SJ series, Fred Duesenberg died of pneumonia, a result of an accident sustained while behind the wheel of his SJ. By 1937, Duesenberg was out of business. Of the 481 Model Js built from 1928 to 1937, it's believed 378 still survived, a remarkable testament to the beauty, quality, and craftsmanship of what was once, and remains to this day, the finest thing on 4 wheels.